Hey guys, welcome to today's podcast. And I've got a fantastic returning guest for you today, Jaclyn Strominger. She's a founder and CEO, and she's been on the podcast last month. And here she's talking about she's got a new retreat coming out, as well as a new way of looking at networking, how to do it. And she got new programs around that. So I'm really happy to have her back on the show. So, Jaclyn, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Christopher. It's we had such a great conversation before, and I'm so glad to be here again today.
Yeah, I know. Just kind of talk about, just kind of remind the audience what you do. And, we talked about kind of mindsets and freedom and being an unstoppable achiever. So talk about, what you do now and, we'll dive right into the conversation.
Yep. So I am a high performance achievement success coach, and really, what I love to say with people, they're like, "Well, what does that really mean?" Because somebody said to me the other day, he said, "Are you business or sports or whatever?" Well, it could be either of those things, but really, it's about helping people in business, CEOs, high level professionals get more out of their life, their business, their teams, and so to level up in their life. And I love helping people create the steps to propel forward, but also to uncover, those things that they may not realize that are sitting behind them that are their blocks, or could be the use of their language and how they speak and ways that they can also motivate their teams to another level. So I love uncovering those things with my clients, and watching them soar. So
Yeah. Yeah, which is really interesting. So, I know, kind of in the green room, we were talking about networking and how, you and me were part of networking events and groups and kind of, you have this, kind of networking is broken these days. I'm curious to see what your approach to is. And, just so, because most of my networking is almost like 80% is now online. So it's so much easier and convenient and more efficient. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
so it's I'm I have to say that as much as I know we do a lot of things online, I love podcasts. I look at this as a great way to network and connect. However, I really truly believe that there is, because if this is in person, you and I are talking together, right? And we're connecting. But in-person networking, the way that it is today in current organizations, I believe when you walk into the room and maybe you even pay money to be part of this organization for, annually. You walk in, you kind of mix and mingle for a little bit, and then people share their 30-second or 60-second commercial, and somebody might give a presentation, and then you talk about, goes around back around the room, like what was a win, or who did you pass some business to, or what was your connection? And you leave, and you literally just spent an hour and a half at this networking meeting. But did you really network? Not really. And am I making the most use of my time connecting with those people in the room? I don't really think so. And a lot of times what ends up happening is people are on their phones, or right, or they're listening but they're half listening, they're kind of texting, or you might have a couple of people sitting aside and they're in some kind of conversation, and a lot of times, but because it's normal, clicks form, and so those clicks each week are sitting in the same place. So I truly believe it's time to disrupt how we network. Networking is all about knowing, liking, and trusting people and making those relationships and making deeper connections. So instead of that, let's blow it up and walk into a room of network for networking. You will have a speaker, but that speaker is not going to just go up and share about their business. They're going to share something that they've learned in their business, like a great tip that they could say, I'm a CEO, or I'm the VP of sales, or I'm an entrepreneur, and this is something that I've learned and I thought everybody should know about it. Right? So let's pass the good nuggets that we've learned to with everybody. And then we can go, then after that speaker talks, instead of everybody standing up and giving their elevator pitch, which nobody remembers, we break out into groups. And those groups are where people make deeper connections, ask questions. And there's certain things that happen in those groups. It's you want to find out from each person what's missing in their business. Where do they need to grow? Who do they need to connect with? And you also want to find out, what do you like? Are you a snowboarder? Are you a skier? Do you like vanilla ice cream? What type of person are you? Because we all know lots of different people, but the whole part of networking and growing our net worth is making those connections and it's basically playing matchmaker in business. It's business matchmaking, right? As we grow our businesses. But I was going to say, but the best way to matchmake, you have to know the people. I don't want to connect you with somebody who I don't think would fit your values or your, as I call it, your achievement code.
Yeah, really interesting. And especially, especially with so many just, different work models and income models. And how has networking evolved in the digital age compared to traditional methods?
Oh God. And okay, so digital age is a couple of different ways you can look at it. So digitally, you could talk about Zoom and you could talk about podcasts. So I think that's sort of one element. And I think the Zoom aspect or is very similar to in person where there are, people are sharing, somebody gets up and, somebody talks about what they are doing, but you have the chat feature on those Zooms so it allows people to have side conversations that everybody can see and individual conversations. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because you're getting to know people. So that's a little bit different. And now we have evolved into, things like whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, Alignable, name the network, and you are reaching out to people. But where the key difference is making sure that you're doing those reach outs with thought, because we also know all of the bots that are out there, right? And there's ways that you can do it without a bot, right? So the key thing is how can you truly be authentic in your reach outs to still make those deeper connections? And so it's where, online, you still have to reach out to people. You still have to take that conversation and go from slight introductions to a deeper conversation. And then that makes it go to maybe a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, and it's really, like I said, it's more faster, more efficient. It saves a lot of time and cost. So kind of we talk about, kind of digital networking and this idea of, kind of this technology. What with technology, what's the difference between networking and relationship building, and why is this distinction important?
You know, it's a good question. Networking is the start of relationship building. I mean, I look at networking as where you get to go and meet people, and then from there you can start the conversations, but you have to then continue and build the relationship. And, one of the things that I work with a lot of my clients on is what is that follow-up sequence that you're doing after you've networked? So, I literally went to an event last night, and part of my thing today is I was there for an hour and a half. So I have an hour and a half blocked on my calendar to do the follow-up. I always say to people, if you're networking for an hour and a half, follow-up's got to be an hour and a half. And then you have to think about what is it that you are going to offer. Think of it with that CEO as their acronym: connect, engage, offer. So again, networking is the start of building the relationship. Relationship building has to continue. And this is the one thing that I always like to remind people. It's not just one connection. It's not just one follow-up. That relationship building could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, depending upon the industry that you're in. Doesn't really matter. You need to be able to stay connected with people and find ways to stay top of mind. I love the example of a friend of mine who's an amazing realtor. And he has it as a tickler with people that if you asked him for, you know, a home evaluation to see what the value of your house is, he said, you can ask me every single year for it, and I will happily do it. And why? Because I know for when you are ready to sell your house, I'm going to be the one that you're going to come to because I've stayed connected with you. So, how can we take that networking event that we do, where we meet all these people and we create a process? There needs to be some process where we're staying in contact with people so that when they're looking for our services, they know to come to us.
I
Yeah.
really, yeah, I really love that. And, it's really interesting because, reminds me when I go to conferences and networking events and, there's actual, the event itself and you have to spend a lot of, and then after that you have to follow up and it's really exhausting because you have like hundreds of contacts and it's almost like, but it's great because it's basically this barrage of, leads and potential collaborations. And so the other question is, with technology, because you talked about, just keeping top of mind, building relationships. How has the rise of social media platforms affected the quality, authenticity of professional networking?
Oh my God. Uh, Christopher, that is the question. That's that's like the deal. I I think it's made it more difficult personally because we have technology with bots and we have I don't know about you, but I get probably 5 to 7 messages every single day saying I can help you, flood your calendar and so I think it takes the authenticity out of it. So you have to be really, I believe personally, for me, yes, I think some of those services are absolutely fantastic. Don't get me wrong on that. But for me, when I reach out to people, I actually say to them, this is me, Jaclyn Strominger. This is really me. I'm not a bot. And I'd love to connect with you. And I tell them why, right? So you have to be able to know how to glean your time and what you're going to say so you can find your path through the digital mirage of bots really now. I mean, it can make things efficient, but how do we take it and make it more authentic? Because I think a lot of times now we've all had so much thrown at us of inauthentic reach outs.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's like because now with socials, it's like kind of who follows you and how many subscribers you have. It's kind of like your social credibility and kind of like kind of like your it's kind of like your brand. And it's interesting because I'll talk to people who have millions of followers and I'm like, oh, we're connected through this individual, and they're like they have no they have no clue who these people are. And so it's kind of takes out away the actually the real like genuine. So it's like the so I know we have around 5 minutes remaining, and I know you have a retreat coming up, and you have a new launch coming out about networking, where you teach clients about your concepts. How can people find more about it and tell us more about it?
So first I want to talk about my retreat. And I'm sorry for any of the men that are listening. I am sorry. It is a female only. It's a small exclusive retreat. It's at the end of September. It's eight for 8 women, and the retreat is networking. And when we network, we are as a human, our people, we are our brand, we are our business, and each and one of us, and I share this with all, we are the CEOs of ourselves. So at this retreat, we are taking the rest of the year and creating the plan for the end of the year. And then we were going to create the map for 2025. But we are also going to unlock our boldness and unlock and drive our future. And part of that is creating the right brand for us individually. And so that's going to include creating an entire makeup headshot session, lifestyle branding shots, so that people have that to take with them when they go home. And I'm so excited about that because I feel like it's a reminder if I can teach people and help people show up with the brand that they want to be, it's going to make them soar. It creates life within us when we are showing up with our true selves. And so that's super excited. It's September 26th to the 29th, and it's in Lake Tahoe. So I will share a link to people to take a look at that. And then super excited, we're launching the Missing Link Network, which is a brand new networking business. So if you need to grow your business and you need to network, go to missinglinknetwork.com and check it out. The difference is how we network is so important. It's like I said, we're gonna break up into groups. We're gonna break through having clicks, and people are going to leave each of their networking meetings, if they're meeting with a hub, with purpose and an accountability partner for the week. And the one part about this that is very different, there is a revenue opportunity for everybody who becomes a member of the Missing Link Network.
Interesting. Yeah, and we'll for the audience, we'll put all the those links in the show notes. And again, let's thank Jaclyn for coming back on and really talking about like I said, I've always enjoyed networking and just kind of meeting and just kind of learning new things and being curious. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Christopher, for having me. It's such a pleasure.